Hello, my name is Verdule. My topic is whether the United States should raise the federal minimum wage and adjust it automatically for inflation. I chose this issue because wages affect everyday choices such as paying rent, buying food, and affording transportation. While wage rules also affect businesses that create jobs. My position is that Congress should phase the federal wage to $15 to protect small employers during the transition and stop letting the wage lose value whenever prices rises. The Fair Labor Standards Act created the federal minimum wage in 1938. The Congress last approved an increase in 2007 using the three steps. The final step, $7.25 per hour, took effect on July 2009, and it is still the federal rate today. States and cities may require more, and workers generally receive the highest applicable rate. However, people in states that rely on federal floor have no increase for nearly 17 years. Inaction matters because the dollar amount stays fixed while prices change. So its purchasing power declines and the wage system becomes increasingly unequal by location. The main stakeholders are low-wage workers and their families, especially people working full-time but still struggling with basic costs. At $7.25, 40 hours per week for 52 weeks equal about $15,080 before taxes. At $15, the same schedule equals $31,200, a difference of $16,121, $20. Employees would pay that increase, and some may respond through higher prices, lower profits, productivity changes, fewer hours, and or fewer positions. Customers and taxpayers are also as stakeholders because prices and basic prices and public assistance spending can change. Legally, Congress could set the federal floor through the FLSA, while states remain free to require higher wages. Supporters argue that work should provide a strong base income. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that a $15 proposal would directly raise wages for 17 million workers and reduce the number of people in poverty by 900,000. Reduce. Supporters also argue that better pay can increase consumer spending and reduce costly turnover. Opponents focus on the people who might lose work or struggle to enter the labor market. Congressional Budget Office average estimate projected employment would be lower by about 1.4 million workers under that specific proposal. Some businesses may have less room to absorb costs, and a uniform national rate can affect low-cost regions differently. Both sides therefore have evidence worth taking seriously. My view is that the federal minimum wage should raise, but the details matter. A person who works full time should not be anchored to a wage amount Congress last updated in 2009. I chose this topic because it connects government decisions to everyday lives of workers and to real pressures faced by employers. I do not think the evidence supports pretending there are no trade offs. That is why I favor gradual increase instead of an immediate jump. And An automatic inflation adjustment would then keep the wage from being frozen for another decade, while targeting assistance would help the smallest firms manage the transitions. My recommendation has four parts. First, Congress should phase the federal minimum wage to $15 over 4 years so employers can plan. Second, after the phase in, the wage should adjust annually with inflation using a clear formula and advance notice. Third, Congress should provide temporary and targeted relief for very small employers, including tax credits, transition guidance, and support for productivity improvements. Fourth, the government should publish regular measures of employment, hours, prices, poverty, and regional effects. If serious harms appears, Congress could adjust the pace without abandoning the goal. This package is more realistic than either leaving the wage frozen or raising it without transition support. These are the four main sources used in my presentation. The Department of Labor explains the current federal law and wage rate. The Bureau of Labor Statistics provide data on minimum wage workers. The the Congressional Budget Office gives nonpartisan estimates of both wage gains and possible employment losses. The Congressional Research Service explains how state wage laws and inflation indexing work. Together, these sources show that raising the wage can help millions of workers but should be designed carefully to reduce risk. Thank you for listening.